Now the thing about the get method when we use method get is that it ends up giving us this URL that is useful for certain websites but not necessarily for us as designers, right? Because you don't want an ugly looking URL. What this is useful for is websites like Google Maps, for example. Let me go there and show you. Let's say I go ahead and find Communication Arts, Michigan State. Okay, so let's say I want directions to Noodles and Company on Grand River. Okay, so look at the URL. Okay, fine, I have the directions and so on, but look at the URL, okay? It's basically showing me the person, the developer who wrote the form for this website obviously used the method get in order to give us this URL. Why is this URL useful for? Because we can, in the end, bookmark this page. This is a simple it's a simple, easy directions from the Comarts building to Noodles and Company. But what if one day, you spend hours looking for directions from East Lansing to Toronto, for example, with stops on the way, and you organize a nice trip. You don't want to lose that URL, so you can bookmark it or save it and then use it later. So if I copy this from just to show you from Firefox and go to Chrome and paste it, it's going to take me to that exact same route between Michigan State Comarts and Noodles and Company. Again, which we said is simple, but if it were a complicated or a complex map, then it's really, really useful. It can also be used for websites like cheaptickets.com, or when you go to purchase a flight ticket and you spend time looking for seats and so on, and you want to save the information before purchasing, so it's great for such purposes. And it is used, the get method is used for websites like maps.google.com or like cheap tickets and so on. But for our purpose, we're just going to use the post method and go back to our form and submit the form and just end up with a nice thank you.html without all that jargon at the top. Okay, we still have a few things to explain. Let me go back to our form and our contact.html page. We want to explain why the values of the name attributes in the checkbox are different, Italian food, Japanese food, and American food, and why they are the same for the radio button, and why we've also used the value attribute for the radio button. To do that, I'm going to go ahead and change post to get, because that's the only way we can explain this. So method get, and I'm going to go ahead and fill the form, just only these two, so pasta and sushi, and then in the morning. Okay, I'm not going to fill the rest of the form, it doesn't matter, and then submit the form. It seems I haven't saved or I haven't refreshed the page, something, because this is supposed to show me I have get. Let me go back, refresh the page. Perhaps I hadn't refreshed the page. Pasta, sushi, and in the morning, and now submit the form. Okay, there you go. So I have that URL. It says identity equals nothing. That's because I didn't enter my name. I didn't say Maral. Advice equals nothing because I didn't write anything in the text area. What I did is just I selected Italian food, I selected Japanese food, and I said that I'm a morning person. This is what I did. Okay? Okay, so Italian food, morning person. Let's explain what's happening here. The URL says Italian food equals on, Japanese food equals on, which means I selected pasta and I selected sushi. Okay? And it gets the value, the word Italian food, from the value entered for the name attribute, Italian food, Japanese food, I clicked on these two checkboxes and it tells me by using the word on that these two have been checked. Okay, so by all means, for the type checkbox, we have to use different values for the name attribute for each checkbox in order to allow the user to select one or more than one, as opposed to the radio button. For the radio button, it says mood equals morning person. Where do these words come from? Mood is the value given for the name attribute, and morning person is the value given for the value attribute. And basically, by all means, the value of the name attribute for all three buttons must be the same. It must be mood, mood, and mood. Otherwise, the radio button will act like a checkbox. It will start allowing me to select more than one, which we don't want. So what it's doing here, it's telling me mood equals morning person and only morning person. The value morning person is the value of the value attribute. If I go ahead and I'm just going to cheat just to show you what happens. I'm going to say mood, mood X, and mood Y. You will see now that the whole purpose of the radio button is going to change, and the browser is going to allow me to select more than one button, which is not what we want. But just for the purpose of showing you, let me refresh the page and click on in the morning, and now when I click on at noon, it's allowing me to select that as well. And it's also allowing me to select in the evening, right? Which is besides the purpose of the button. And that's happening because I use different values for the name attribute with the type radio. And now when I submit the form, let's see what it says. It says mood X is noon person, mood Y is evening person, and mood is morning person. So it allowed me to select everything, okay, which is fine, but the purpose of the radio button is just to select only one and to prevent us from selecting more. If that's what we want, we should by all means use the same value for the name attribute when using the type radio in order to be able to only select one button and not more than one button.